Hi everyone. Tonight I'd like to talk to you about unexpected opportunities to heal past wounds. And this was something that was inspired by my Monday that I recently experienced, where I had the day off work as scheduled and had mostly just planned to sort out about a whole bunch of stuff for my blog and YouTube channel and just general errands and go for a walk and have a good day. And it started out with a call from a number I didn't recognize, and I normally wouldn't have answered because I didn't recognize it, and I was like, oh, 1866, whatever. And so I answered, and it was an automated message for me to call my credit card company because my credit card had been compromised, and I wasn't certain if I should even believe this because who knows what's like accurate when you get calls like that. But I googled it and I was like, call from X number, and then it said to it could have been legit, so I called the number on the back of my credit card, which was awesome because that's just the regular number. And then they were able to tell me that yes, this was legit and I needed to get something sorted because my card had fraudulent charges on it. And I thought, oh, that's annoying, but whatever, like, not the biggest deal. It's from what I've heard from other people's experiences, for the most part, credit card companies take care of this stuff right away. So I had a really nice customer service agent, so thank you to whoever you were, because you were really efficient and prompt and kind, and I think we had a real connection. And so I was told that all the charges were wiped. I'd have a new credit card to me on courier the next day. So, you know what, that's fine. I don't have a ton of automated payments that come through on my card every month. It's really not a huge hassle. So, whatever, it happens. I've had 10 years of having a credit card and really no issues. So, I figure I'm doing pretty well. But one thing that really, as like the dust was kind of settling from that, I was like, you know what feels really kind of ugh, like just yucky about it all, was the fact that it felt like a violation. Someone had cracked a code somehow online. The information of my card wasn't taken physically. But the fact that they just decided to just violate someone's identity for their own personal selfish gain, it just doesn't sit well with me. And all of that aside, what it did trigger was an experience from when I was really little. I don't know, I was probably early elementary school, and I remember walking home with my brother and finding that the house we lived in had been broken into, and so that's a violation. And it just had the same effect as that feeling I had when I was little and being stunned to see the broken glass and realizing that certain things were missing, and then going into my room to scope out the scene to see if they'd taken anything of mine, and no, okay, they didn't. And then later that night, I went to my closet and I noticed that my suitcase was gone, and put together fairly quickly that they must have used that, whoever broke into the house, to haul away the other stuff that had been stolen. So someone had stolen a little girl's suitcase to carry away other stolen things. And I I dealt with that emotionally. I had some really good trauma counseling at the time, and it was effective. But you never really forget what that feeling is like about someone just getting all up in your space, just completely violating your privacy and just stealing from you. So that was triggered, and I noticed that in having that sensation come up again with the credit card fraud, that was probably my biggest issue with everything. Logistically, the card's sorted. I have a new one already. The payments will be transferred. At the end of the day, matter of fact, like, it's all good. But I thought it was just another way of noticing that feeling that came up of just feeling violated, and knowing that that was a place of being scared where I felt that. And there's really nothing I can do about it now. What's done is done. But I thought it was a good opportunity to see the little girl that was scared in me in that time, and just really honor that it's okay to feel that way if something like this happens to you, because it is a violation and it's not cool. So that was realization number one of the day. Carried on with my day, had a really quite a good day throughout the rest of it. And then I went to cook this delicious vegan coconut curry sweet potato chickpea recipe that evening. And I've made it once before. A friend told me about it, and it's absolutely delicious. And so I put the coconut oil on the stove, and I thought it was a bit premature because I still had a few things to chop, but I was like, oh, it'll be nice and hot by the time I'm ready to throw everything into the pan to saute. And I look up and I'm like, oh, that's pretty smoky, but nothing drastic, like nothing bad by any means. And then I hear an alarm go off, and then I hear another alarm go off. And one of them I can't access, and I can tell my landlords aren't home. So I'm like, oh no, this is probably going to set something off. And so, like, beyond my control that I can't shut off, and long and short of it, that's what happened. And because the other alarm that I couldn't access went off for so long, the alarm company was alerted, and then the fire department was alerted. So when the fire department showed up for really just nothing serious at all, which I'm glad they did. I'm grateful for that service, and I feel very safe in the event of an actual emergency. But when they showed up, I was again triggered of just absolute guilt, because when I was around the same age as when our house was broken into, I was home alone after school, and I watched loads of like reality TV, and there was a show, I swear it was called Rescue 911 or something like that, and one reenactment of like a scary scene that someone got themselves out of real life crime that people were victims to, was to do with someone sneakily grabbing a phone and then like dialing 911 without looking at it. And I just thought that was such a good tip. And I thought in my mind, of my 8-year-old brain, or younger, whatever, I thought, okay, I want to be able to do that in case I'm ever in like a drastic situation where I'm trapped and have access to a phone, a cordless phone, where I can punch in 911 discreetly and then be saved. So I tried that when I was in absolutely no danger at all. And what I didn't know is, if you actually go through with dialing 911 and you don't actually speak to a dispatch agent, they'll send someone to the address located to your telephone number. And so the little girl in me was absolutely mortified when a police woman showed up and was asking questions of seeing if I was okay. And I just felt so guilty and ashamed that I had done that, and I couldn't even admit at the time. I just thought, oh no, there was a glitch in the telephone system, and I couldn't even say, like, yes, I punched this in, and it's because I watched the show. I didn't admit that was the reason why I did that until years later, just because I was so insecure about it. And I think part of me, that event was triggered with the whole coconut oil and firemen showing up, because it was something where I felt like I did something so wrong, and really it was a harmless mistake. And I was just thinking about how interesting it was that two things, one at the start and one at the end of my day, could trigger so much in terms of past emotions and feeling of guilt and violation and shame, and really I'm glad I was aware of that, because it made suffering really optional in terms of both of those experiences. Because at the end of the day, the facts were that there were some credit card charges that weren't mine that were dealt with, and at the end of the day, there was some smoke in my place that set off an alarm, and nothing was really wrong. And at the end of the day as well, I keep saying at the end of the day, but there are a lot of realizations here that I was very excited about to learn. I'm an okay person who wasn't trying to hurt anyone. And I hope that in sharing this story, you have an opportunity to look at things that happen to you that could really throw you off center, and just become very present with them and see them for what the facts are in those situations. Honor your emotions you're feeling, but you don't have to stay stuck in them, especially if they're feelings that are not nice to feel. Notice them, feel them out for a bit if you need to, but if you can see fairly quickly that you didn't actually do anything wrong, you didn't actually hurt anyone, weird things just happen, and you can expand your capacity for weirdness and just care about yourself along the way. I think that is my little tip of the day to make life a bit easier, and just a way to be kinder to yourself, and a way to just use things that happen to you throughout the day that bring on certain emotions of past events as a way to heal them and to go back in time in your mind to who you were earlier in your life where you were struggling more, and to send a lot of love to that person. And I mean this in the most genuine and sincere way, and I did find it a really helpful way to cope with that strange and wonderful day. I hope this made sense. I hope you can apply it to your own life, and I hope that you're being kind to yourself. See you later.